this is almost becoming a typical Michigan win. You jump out early and it gets tight at the end, and somehow you guys continue to find a way to win this thing.
You know, we're playing good teams, and if you look at the end of our schedule, it's very similar to it. But you know, there's a lot of plays at the end that everybody talks about. There's a lot of plays in the beginning that get you out like this. So you know, we're a young team, and it's really hard to sustain a defense at that 35-minute mark, that 38-minute mark. We weren't young when Jordan Morgan stood in there and took a great charge, one that we'll all remember for a long time.
It's a good time for that call to reemerge.
Yeah, but it was different. It was off the dribble, which is an easier one to take, and it was the right call. I mean, and he liked it. I mean, he took it as an insult. I think that they were going to just take him one-on-one in the game, and so he's great at figuring out his angles. He did a wonderful job of denying Stokes the ball, and then really did a great job on that play.
Coach, you talk about those plays in the beginning and to get out to that big lead. Zach was huge off the bench shooting the ball. Can you talk about his role? And
you know, being a coach all these years, you can have great shooters. But when they can come off the bench and shoot like he does, I mean, you look at our biggest wins this year, the road wins, he was a big part of almost all those because he comes off and hits 2 or 3, or Minnesota hit 5. And for him to come in the game, then they went 1-3-1 zone. We had an easy shot, we missed it, and then all of a sudden he hits another one. They're out of the zone. So it's incredible what he's been able to do with his team, and in limited minutes, and handle that personally, because here he is, Mr. Basketball in Indiana, and he's playing 12 minutes a game. And he's been great at handling that.
In later game situations, is inbounding the ball something you guys need to work on here over there?
Well, I can't recall in 1,100 games ever having to inbound the ball in a close situation under the other basket 4 consecutive times, dead ball. You only got so much. You have to do that once or twice, and so we went with a scheme twice, and then 3 times, and then we changed it. What we've learned from that is we had timeouts. Spike threw the ball to people when they were in trouble. You don't throw it to people. You don't throw short passes. He just wanted to get rid of it, and we need to be stronger there. So no, pressure has never been a problem with us, but that's a difficult situation.
One win away from the Final Four. What's that mean to you?
Well, nothing just yet. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to think about the Final Four. I'm thinking about beating Louisville or Kentucky, whoever we have the privilege to play. We know we're going to play a great team.
When you saw Nick miss that second free throw, what went through your mind? Were you almost kind of happy?
Yeah, I think that because I was thinking of getting a sub at the table if we made it. Now they could set something up, and we had sort of have a defense for that. At the same time, when he misses it, it's not a bad thing. Not with 2.9. You don't want to miss it with 4 seconds. And I knew they were out of timeouts.
Coach, talk about Jordan coming up big again in the Syracuse game last year.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and this is the thing that we have talked about. His coaches, he have talked about over time, is he's watched so many of his fellow teammates go pro, and the game is about them. I said, Jordan, you're as key as any of those guys have been. It's just different numbers. How many guys you have stopped, how many charges you have taken, and here you are. You're going to have a master's in engineering. You're just as big a Michigan man as anybody that's gone pro or any senior or all these things. He has been a key to one of the keys, many keys to our success over these last 4 years.
Coach, in those late game huddles, Derek said that Spike can often be sort of a calming influence for the team. Can you tell us a little bit about his role there?
Well, you know, there's a lot going on because we're changing things back and forth. We're listening. Maybe there's too much time in a CBS timeout sometimes to talk. But no, Spike has been really good. He needs to speak more, but he's terrific for everybody.
Coach, Mitch said you and some of the other coaches try to hype kind of the matchups with Jordan down, hype them up down low. Do you think that helps them to kind of build up the pressure on him a little bit?
I didn't do any of that. Like I said, I've told everybody that we were practicing double teaming in case we needed it in the game. And Jordan took it as an insult all week that we were practicing double teaming. He wanted number 5, Stokes by himself, no help, just give me some scratch downs, I can handle him. The Minister of Defense, he was going to handle him, and he did. So, but he had a lot of help from other guys, but I'm just telling you, that young man, when it's all said and done, you know, he's going to be one of the great Michigan players, great Michigan winners and leaders that we've ever had.
Talk about the stretch in uniform tonight. Why have Mitch in uniform tonight?
He wanted to go there, and his teammates wanted him there, and I just think he's jumping around in a suit and dress shoes, and I thought it would be very comfortable. I thought it would be good inspiration for the team.
Talk about the stretch that Jordan's on, 3 games in double-figure scoring, leading scorer tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and the jump hooks inside and all these things. It's just what he's been practicing on. He's so deserving of these opportunities he's getting. I mean, he is so deserving of it because he's worked hard to get to this point. And he's going to have a special place in my heart, I know, for a long time. And the other thing, he doesn't want us to go home. I know he doesn't want to end his senior year. And so he's doing a great job there.
After 5 years with him, is he still doing things that surprise you?
Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've watched his maturity grow. You know, he came in here as a very young 17-year-old, and just watching him go from 17 years old to playing, not playing, starting, injured, all these things. Look at this thing. His Jesuit training did a great job at Detroit. That he's got a very holistic look at the whole thing right now, and you can see it every day.
John, are you ever amazed at the lack? These guys are never nervous. It seems like you're nervous, I know, but they're not, and they just
I hope I
don't
don't
seem
look
to
to
get
it. No, they are. You know, they're pretty composed, and I think that has a lot to do with our staff. Just, you know, we keep things light, but they've been through it so many times where we've just stayed focused, and I think they have a task. They're task oriented, so they know the job, and they focus on that. Instead of worrying what could go wrong, they just say, I'm just going to go do my job.
There aren't many teams that get on a run like this with so many close games. You guys know something like 15 straight, you know, under 10 points. I mean, is that something that you see is a characteristic of this team, or just
well, we've been, you know, as I told you all, we've been lucky because things could go the other way. But no, this is uncanny because we're a good foul shooting team, we're a good passing team, and we can take care of the ball late, and we make good judgment late in the game. We blew up that 15-second play, however, so we two guys went to the wrong spots. But it just, they've been able to persevere even through mistakes late on the road or in late in games because they've had this thing. We're going to make this work. I don't know how it's going to happen. We're going to make it work.
Zach's couple of threes really spurred the run. How big is it for him as a freshman?
This is incredible. This is incredible for a kid to come off the bench and do this. I mean, Mr. Basketball in Indiana, and he's coming in and he's sharing time. And he is just looking for his opportunities. One of the greatest teammates we have. And so I know people are going to enjoy watching him at Michigan for many years to come.
How much did you tell Glenn when Naaman was on him to attack that and make that a matchup for you guys?
That was a game plan going in. If they were going to play with both bigs, we needed Glenn to really attack. Probably when they brought number 23, I probably should have kept attacking more there as well. Nick, it's not about Nick getting shots, it's about Nick seeing Glenn, about seeing people. He's such a good passer, so we went the way we had, but probably wish would have got Glenn a few more shots today.
When you have first halves like you had tonight, is it something that you address in the locker room? Like, look, you're probably not going to do that. Like, you're not going to score 45
We don't
points
put that voodoo out there. We don't put that voodoo out there. We talk to them about guarding, right, and keep doing it. We pretty much say, all right, we scored a lot of points in the first half. That's because we're guarding people, and we got to continue to do that.
When they're hitting shots like they did in the first half, I mean, do they look better? I wasn't here last year. Do you think they look better than they were last year?
Tough kid. You're not going to give me a bite on that one. 1 second. There's times this year when our offense is clicking, right, that we can put. If you can put 45 on a team in 1/2, you got a pretty good team. Now you just got to guard them a little bit. So we you know, the weakness we still have is the youth in our defense. We got one truthfully, we have one charge taker out there, Jordan Morgan, and he was in the right spot. So the other guys, and it's a difficult call this year, but we got to be able to stand in there and take some things. Otherwise, people just drive right at us.
Time for one more.
Once I went back to the four wings, they got a lot more looks at the basket, a lot more baseline cuts. How are you planning to address that going forward, especially seeing more teams like?
Well, you know, we didn't guard our yard very well, and they really took advantage of the baseline. McRae is very quick, right? Richardson is very quick, and we just, you know, we just got to be better at in those situations of rallying to the ball, of showing them more jersey. We've got spread out a little bit. But basically, they're a talented team. They can beat you one-on-one, and with the new charge rule, it's very difficult to do anything about it.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, John.